Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Doctorate of Giant Masters. Spirituality is only about one thing: spirit. Most people don't know about spirit, therefore they make it be about human things. Spirit is not human. Spirit is what is aware of a human, aware of thoughts, aware of emotions, aware of a body, aware of what comes into the senses. Spirit is awareness itself. That's the most sacred thing that could ever exist in all of creation, is awareness. If there are objects, I don't care if they're beautiful, ugly, big, small, entire galaxies, or a little pin. If no one's aware of them, they have no meaning. Awareness is the beginning and end of all of meaning of life. Now, I don't have to prove that. You know that. You know that if you're never aware of anything, it doesn't exist. What if nobody or anything or no awareness, no consciousness, conscious awareness, was aware of any object? Then it doesn't matter whether it exists or not. Why would you have an argument about it? It is of no meaning. Mayor Baba said it like this: every single thing in the universe, all the stars and everything on them and all the galaxies are like zeros. Just hundreds and trillions and zillions of zeros. They have no meaning. Add them together, they're zero. Multiply them together, they're zero. He said, take the number one, consciousness, awareness, and put it to the left of all those zeros. And all of a sudden, they're worth hundreds of billions of zillions of trillions of quillions. That one is consciousness. It gives meaning to everything. Now, it's funny. He probably said, and I think he did, that is God. There's no difference. God is that number one, consciousness. That's what gives all meaning to everything. Do you have thoughts? I don't want to hear about your thoughts. I really don't. I don't want to hear mine either, right? I don't want to hear about your thoughts. If you were not conscious of your thoughts, do you have thoughts? How do you answer that question? There's nobody aware of it. There's no consciousness. There's nothing. Your conscious awareness is the entire meaning of your life. We're going to build it out, but I want to stress this time, because it's not hard to understand. Who couldn't understand this? There's a thing called consciousness. What is that? What is consciousness? Guess who knows what consciousness is? You. Tag, you're it. The microscope's not conscious. Building's not conscious. Car's not conscious. They are things you're conscious of. And because you're conscious of them, you interact. One is called consciousness. The other is called objects of consciousness. How many objects of consciousness are there? Infinite. Infinite. All through the galaxies of everything. They're objects of consciousness. What is consciousness? And that's yoga. Yoga is not asanas. It has asanas. It's not mantras. Yoga is the science of consciousness. That is what it is. It is the science, the study of human knowledge, more than any other, that studies what is consciousness, not what do I think it is. Why? Because that's being conscious of your thoughts. If you're conscious of it, then it's not consciousness. It's something you're conscious of. If I take a light, can that light shine on a lot of objects? How many objects can it shine on? Potentially any object in the whole universe it can shine on. Okay? Is the light the object it's shining on? No. It's illumining it. If you're in the object, it looks like it's there. It was all part of the light structure. If you were inside of a bulb and the light was shining on it, you would think that the bulb had light, but it doesn't. It's something shining on it. I can move the light off of it. I'm dying, I'm melting. No, no. Light cannot die. It can just shine on something else. It can't get old. Light doesn't get old. What it shines on can get old. Light is neither ugly nor beautiful. What it shines on can be. This thing of the light of consciousness, that's why they call it the light of consciousness, because its quality is closest to light as anything else. So you can be conscious of one thing or another, light can shine on one thing or another. Do you die when you stop paying attention to a thought? No. Maybe the thought falls away, hopefully. Okay? So you have to separate the most sacred thing in the universe, which is your awareness of being. There's no reason for you to be alive if you don't have consciousness. But you can be alive if you lose your arm. You can be alive if you lose your car. You can be alive if you lose your husband. I know you don't want to be, but you can. You wish you weren't, but you are. Okay? If the object changes, the consciousness does not change one single iota. If you're married and you're aware of being married, then you're divorced, you're aware of being divorced, then you meet somebody else, you're aware of meeting somebody else. The objects that you're aware of have changed. You didn't change. The consciousness did not change. The emotions change, those are something you're aware of. The thoughts change, that's something you're aware of. Are you your thoughts? Meditate. Just try it once, and probably need more than once. You can and will, at some point, come back and say, oh my God, there were no thoughts. How do you know? Someone will challenge you, say, that's a thought, that you thought that there was no thought. No, I didn't think there was no thought. There was no thought. How do you know? Because you're conscious. You're just conscious of no thoughts. Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras did it this way. When you go into regular sleep, dream state, are you aware of dreams? Is it the same you who's aware of the dream that is aware when they wake up and remembers they had a dream? Oh, I had this unbelievable dream. I was flying. No, you used the word I. That's amazing, because your consciousness was the same. It was experiencing this stuff. He said, fine, that's the dream state. What about in a dreamless state? Deep, deep sleep. I'm telling you, maybe you didn't, but you have at some point. You wake up and you say to somebody, oh my God, I slept so deep, I had no dreams last night. How do you know you had no dreams? Because you were still there. You were conscious of having no dreams. So Patanjali said, when you're going to deep dreamless state, it's not that you're not conscious. You're conscious of nothing. That's something to be conscious of, nothing. Like, this discussion is the essence of the meaning of life. Who's in there? Who's in there that knew there were no dreams? It wasn't your thoughts. Sure as heck wasn't your ego. Oh my God, there were no dreams. I was freaking out. No, well, then you're still there, okay? But you can go into a state in which it's just completely clear, empty. That's the Buddhist empty mind. You've heard that term, empty mind. Thoughts aren't being created that are distracting the consciousness. Consciousness is just there, being. Can be any effort. If there's effort, you're still causing effort. You're doing something. There's still ripples in the water. Can the lake be completely still with no ripples? Well, as long as stuff isn't dropping in it. And your consciousness can see the ripples, and your consciousness can see no ripple. That's the essence of Buddhism. No mind, non-doership. You're just there. That's where the great ones went. You're just there. Now, just so we tie it all together, what happens if you're just there? Nothing. How could it? There's no objects. But are you there? Yes. What happens to you who's there? Right now, objects draw your consciousness into them. You get distracted by your thoughts. You don't have to have ADHD. You all got ADHD. You all have ADHD. We're so ADHD'd that we take the extreme where someone can't even stay focused for a moment. They got ADHD. Yeah, well, so do you. All right? If you have a thought, does it distract you from the thought you were having before? If you have an emotion, can it distract you from your thoughts? If you get a bite, a mosquito bite, can it distract you from your thoughts and your emotions? So your consciousness is there, but it's being distracted by the object of consciousness. It's being pulled down from its seat of consciousness. Okay, we use that term. kind of neat to understand what they mean, all right? You're just, where's my seat of consciousness? Too late. You already asked a question. You already got involved in your mind. That has nothing to do with seat of consciousness. You will never, ever figure out seat of consciousness with your mind. Why? Because your mind is an object of consciousness. They are thoughts, aren't they? If I think about it enough, I'll find out what consciousness is. No, you won't. If you don't think of it at all, to where the thoughts are not distracting your consciousness from its seat of consciousness, the seat of consciousness. I'm not talking about source yet, just about seat. It's where consciousness is when it's not being distracted. How's that? Everything's somewhere. It's not being pulled down into your thoughts, not being pulled down into your emotions. Oh, but emotions are good things. Yeah. Do they distract your consciousness? Are they bad things? Nothing's bad or good. They're just objects of consciousness. So let's get the distinction. I'm really stressing the distinction between consciousness and object of consciousness. All your thoughts, dirty, clean, religious, atheist, all your thoughts are objects of consciousness. They're things in the universe, are they not? They are thoughts, they are things. You can think them. Can you not think them? And not just meaning don't think this, think that. Can there be no thoughts? Have you ever experienced a state of no thought? Most of you have, but not in what you call spiritual. Let's say you're madly in love with somebody, head over heels and everything else involved. So they're gone. They've been gone for a while. And you miss them. You thought about them a whole lot. Didn't you think about them a whole lot? In fact, you couldn't go to work and get anything done. You were so distracted by your thoughts about them that you couldn't have thoughts about work. Ever been there? Okay, all right, fine. That's consciousness, same consciousness, distracted by those thoughts. Surprisingly, they show up at the door, unexpected, all right? Your heart melts, the thoughts stop completely. They give you a hug. You're not even there. You went bye-bye. Ever go bye-bye? There are no thoughts. You're not thinking, oh boy, I'm hugging him or her. Are you? You can call that love an emotion. For now, we'll let it be an emotion. The point is there are no thoughts. There are no thoughts being created. We'll talk about where thoughts come from in a minute, but I want to lay this groundwork. So another time it happens, you're driving down the road, it's a beautiful day, you turn the corner, and the sun is setting. Oh my God. It's just magenta and all the... Your breath stops. Your mind stops. You know, say, what a nice sunset. Then you're not experiencing the sunset, you're experiencing your mind. But isn't that what it means to appreciate the sunset? Of course it doesn't mean that. Go to the Metropolitan Museum and stand before whatever kind of painting you like, Monet, Renoir, and so on. Stand there. Analyze it. Oh, look, the stroke went here. You're not experiencing the painting. You're experiencing your thoughts about the painting. There can be a state in which when you stand before the painting, there ain't no thoughts. Your breath gets taken away. Music can do that, can't it? You're sitting there, you're thinking, and all of a sudden, whoa, you go bye-bye. We'll call it bye-bye? What does that mean? The consciousness wasn't being drawn down into its normal state of thought patterns. Therefore, it experienced something very beautiful. And sometimes you say things like, oh my God, it was so beautiful. I felt like it touched the core of my being. I felt like I was in the presence of God. You were. If it touched the core of your being, those are not your thoughts. Those are not your emotions. You touched where you are if you don't get drawn down into your thoughts. This is spirituality. Why? You went into spirit. You went back to you, to the consciousness itself. And when you feel that, people have had meditations that lasted 2 minutes and their entire life was changed and will never, ever be again the same because they touched something that was realer than they had ever touched before. They touched the self. We call it the self. That's the self. You. Yeah, hello. You in there. So thoughts are objects of consciousness. Emotions are objects of consciousness. I know you like some of them and don't like the others. And I know they're a problem. Emotions can be a problem, can't they? Why? Because they distract your consciousness so much that you can't ever get back to that nice place. Since he left me, It's so emotional mess. I can't even get out of bed. I can't do anything. I can't even think straight. Okay, I'm sorry. What happened is that same consciousness, divine consciousness, that sense of complete openness and core of your being is there at that moment, exactly the same as the highest moment you ever had. It's always there, but it's being distracted down to this yucky emotion that's causing you trouble. It's still there. You're still enlightened. You're still God. You're still everything. Everybody is that, distracted by this. One is holy, there ain't another one is so holy. Okay? You got the foundation? Consciousness is everything. If you get back to the seat of consciousness, that's what you guys nowadays call witness consciousness. Why is it called witness consciousness? Because in that state, by the way, that's not a very high state. We're going to go much, much higher in this discussion, all right? Witness consciousness means noticing the thoughts, not being drawn down into them, but noticing that they're there. Noticing the emotions. I'm not lost in this emotion of fear, anxiety, or need, or whatever the heck it is. It didn't draw me into it, but I'm aware that it's there. But I don't have to go down. That's a great power you gain through spiritual growth, through meditation, through different things, is you're able to remain separate, not suppress it. People understand it. Like if I say remain detached, I don't use that word. A great yogi once told me that detachment is the highest yogic state. But I won't tell you that, because what you think detachment means is no feeling. It doesn't mean no feeling. There's plenty of feeling, but you're not being drawn down into it. You're detached from it. The consciousness remained here. Ram Dass once said it like this: you feel like you're standing on a bridge watching the commotion of water, rapids going below you. And every once in a while, a spray comes up and touches you. And you remember, I used to live in there. That's not a cold detachment. You're now sitting in the seat of self, which is very warm and very full, and it's the wholest thing you've ever experienced. When you experience great love, like I told you, somebody shows up unexpected and your heart melts and you're just blown away, where's that coming from? A moment ago, you're all anxious and scared and bills to pay and all kinds of stuff. And all of a sudden, you're not there anymore. You're in this beautiful state. That did not come from another person. That came from you letting go of these emotions that were distracting you, these thoughts that were distracting you. I'll tell you, I don't want to get too close. You've been there before, where you're in love and everything's wonderful and so on, and you're with somebody and you're feeling all this, then all of a sudden they do something or don't do something, or you think something. That feeling's not there anymore, is it? How long does it take for that to go away? You were, prior to that, in the state closer to the source of self, to the source of being. And it's very beautiful back there. It's beyond your comprehension. How's that? It's the core of all beauty, of all of life. And when you were open and not being distracted by your thoughts and emotions, you touched that. You experienced that. It's a special moment. We were having a special moment. And then he burped. I told you, you want to get it right? All right. You're sitting there hugging. It's wonderful. You're melting. You're completely melted. You love the person so much. I just want to look in their face. You don't think. You just open your eyes. And behind your head, they got their cell phone. How long did it take for that love to stop? The love did not go away. It is always there. That spot is always there every moment of your existence. You leave it. It didn't leave you. Your consciousness got drawn down into your judgmental mind. I'm not going to talk to him again. The way I tell the story is then you find out that he was about to propose and he was finishing the plans for the honeymoon and he had to do this here, right? And you closed down. How many times in your life did you miss everything, get it wrong? You have no idea. So what happens is the love is always there. The bliss is always there. What did Christ say? The peace that passeth all understanding. There is a peace back there. Nothing can take away. It's just there. And it's really deep. There's a love that's transcendent to personal love. What's personal love? He's behaving the way I want. She's giving me what I want. I know her. You do? What happens if she doesn't give what you want? What happens if one moment he or she doesn't do exactly what you want? Well, I don't need to hang out here. You can do something better. So these thoughts distract your state of very highness, okay? And they pull you down. And so what do you end up doing? Well, it's human life. Now that we've talked about something higher. And it isn't like you have to get there. You are there. You are there all the time. How about if you're in a state of great depression? You are not depressed. You're staring at a depressed mind. If something changed, if all of a sudden your girlfriend left you and you're depressed for days and weeks, called you, what a mistake I made. I never realized how much I loved you and saw you. Nothing's even close. Well, can you ever forgive me? How you doing? You depressed? You are not depressed. You're conscious. It's what you're conscious of that matters. In that case, you were conscious of a depressed psyche. Then it got happy. What you're experiencing is the self when you open. Okay. What is human existence? Because it ain't there. What happens to a human being is over the course of developmental years, they develop thought patterns, concepts and views and hopes and dreams and values and preferences and likes and dislikes. Yes or no? You develop these. How did you develop these? I love psychology says the following. Man, woman too, man is the sum of his learned experiences. That is so deep. Why? Because it's true. All your preferences, all your hopes, all your dreams, all your concepts, all your views, all your beliefs are the sum of your learned experiences. You did not just make them up. You had experiences. They felt good. They felt bad. You held them inside, and you built a personal mind, ego, a conceptual mind. This was good. This was bad. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. I like her. I don't like him. I liked her before, but I don't want to see her again. These are thoughts. They're thoughts tied to emotions. And your consciousness has the ability to hold on to these things. Why? A thought just comes and goes like a cloud in the sky. Come, here today, gone tomorrow. No, not if you use this power. You have a power in there. They gave it a name. They called it willpower. It's the power that you have, that consciousness has, to rearrange things in there. You can hold on to things, can't you? You can hold on to them. Can you have things in there from your child that still bother you? Who's doing that? Why do they stay in there? Of what use is it for them to be in there? Zero, nothing. They happened 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and they still bother you. It has no meaning. You're not going to be 3 years old again. Your parents aren't going to get divorced again. But yet it still bothers you. You did that. Who you? The you in there. Consciousness has a power. What do you mean consciousness has a power? Consciousness can focus, can't it? Can you focus your consciousness? Can it expand back if you don't focus it? That's like, ever take a magnifying glass outside in the sun and let it make that focus point that could burn a leaf when you're kids? That's what happens with consciousness. Consciousness is a great power. If it focuses, it creates this power of will. That's what willpower is the focused consciousness. That's why when you want to think about something, do math in your head, you have to focus. You get tired. You focus your power. So that's what willpower is. And what human beings have done with their willpower is if something happens in your experience of life and you don't like it, you focus on it. What did you say to me? What did you say? I thought you were my friend. I'm sorry. I don't care whether you're sorry or not. Okay, fine. What does that mean? It means I have focused on that, and you will never be my friend ever again because that hurt me, and I'm keeping this inside of me. Oh, muzzle tough, good, make a mess. But you do that, don't you? All right? So you focus your consciousness on it, and you leave it focused there. And then what you do is you don't like it being there, and so you do the thing Freud talked about. Why is this still there? I can't handle it being there. Okay, let's push it away. Not let it go. Wholly different thing. I'm not going to sit there and say, fine, you had a bad day. You said something, I don't care. No, that's letting it go. I cease to focus on it. Okay? I focus on it so much that I put more will into it to push it out of my mind, called suppression or repression, and store it down there where it rots. You store inside your mind that which bothered you. I know I'm stressing the point, overstressing it, right? I want you to take that home and say, I store within my mind that which bothers me. And then once in a while say, why would I do that? Why would I store what bothered me? It seemed to me of all the things you don't store, it's the ones that bothered you, but you store everything that bothers you. Why? Because you can't handle it. That's what it means not being able to handle it. I handled what she said. She didn't mean it. Fine, wonderful. Oh my God, I'll never talk to her again. You did that. You made that distinction. And so you stored all this stuff in here. And then psychology says man's sum of learned experiences. That's what your ego is. That's what's going on in your mind. That's what's distracting you every moment of your life is the sum of your learned experiences that you stored in there are now, if you see a poster, all of a sudden feelings come up. A smell that your mother used to cook like that, right? And you liked your mom, you feel good. You don't like your mom, you feel bad. That's what your moods are. That's what everything is. You stored all this stuff. Now it comes back up, doesn't it? But you don't want it to come back up. So you decide, I don't want to live here. I don't want to hang out with this person. I don't want to date that person. I don't want to have that experience ever again. So I will adjust my entire life so that it doesn't be the way I don't want it to be. How many of you attempt to adjust the flow of life in front of you to be the way you want it to be and to not be the way you don't want it to be? Every single one of you. That's the human experience. And it is not fun. It's a struggle, isn't it? Nowadays, big word, anxiety. Why is there anxiety? Because what I don't want to happen might happen. Is it happening now? No. If it was happening now, I'd be in trouble. I'm just anxious that it might. And you live in that. And you adjust your life. You pick your friends, you pick this, every single thing to try and make so that when it happens, it doesn't bother me. And maybe if it happens, it makes me feel good. Much less, by the way. There are way less things that make you feel good than bother you. So you've got it down to this point. You stored what you didn't like and a few things that you like, store those too. So now you don't want them to happen again, or you don't want it to happen again. So now you're trying to manipulate life. So now you're not worried about what happened. You're worried about what might happen. That's what worry is. You don't worry about what's happening. You worry that something might happen. I worry that what I don't want to happen might happen. And there's the big thing. I now made it more complicated. What I don't want to happen. Do any of you have things you don't want to happen? Okay? Do you worry that they might happen? Do you feel anxiety, fear? Do you protect yourself when they're not even happening? What kind of life is that? You drop down to a tiny little planet, swim in the middle of nowhere for a handful of years. It's been here for 4.5 billion years. How long are you going to be here? 80, 90 years. Come on, man. That's what you want to do with those years? Worry and anxious and create all this struggle and then try to manipulate people so they be the way you want them to be and never be the way you don't want them to be and have everything unfold the way you want in relationships and business and health. Come on. Decide how you want it to be. I'll make a statement for you, and you go prove it wrong. Decide anything in life that you want it to be a certain way, it will ruin your life. I want to find this very special person. I like it was 6 feet tall, and this and that, and they believe this, they believe that. Man, what do we say we have now? 8.3 billion people on planet Earth? You got it down to maybe one that you'd be okay with. How can you be happy if you're limited like that? You do that with everything. These are the colors I like. These are the people I like. Do you realize every single thing you say you like a lot, you have excluded the ability to be okay with everything else. So you catch on what happened. You programmed your beautiful mind. I do not talk against the mind. The mind is beautiful. It creates rocket ships and air conditioning and lights when it's dark out. And it's creative. And oh my God, the mind's amazing. Beethoven's music and Monet's paintings, and they're all coming from there and higher from there. The mind is beautiful. It's a beautiful mind. You broke it. You broke it because you said to your mind, oh, mine. Yeah, he's scared of you. Oh, mine. Make every single moment of my life be the way I want it to be when it happens. It's not about getting what you want. It's never about getting what you want. It's about appreciating, experiencing, and being blown away by what is. Always, everything. That's life. How would you like that life? You wake up in the morning, I'm back. I'm back. Well, what's going to happen today? I don't know. Who cares? It'll be fun. Well, if you get sick, I'll learn about the hospitals. I'll learn about nurses and doctors and all about the latest medicine and all that stuff. Well, what if you lose your job? I'll look for another one. What if so-and-so decides they don't like you because they got caught in their mind? Fine. I love having people don't like me. It's really funny. It's really funny. God, I have so much to teach you. Do you understand? If someone doesn't like you, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. They have this program thing that they held inside their mind, and you don't fit it. Your religion's wrong. Your beard is wrong. Your height is wrong. Understand that? Because any way that they don't like, somebody else loves. It's just based on their past experience. What is going on inside of their head is the same as yours, the sum of their learned experiences. And you want to please that? It's really funny. It's never been pleased for very long, ever. And so you just get to the point and say, what can life be like? It can be like you wake up in the morning and you sit there and say, I'm going to have experiences. Earth is a place, I told you once, Earth is God's idea of Disney World. Go to Mars. Go to Jupiter. Go to Saturn. How long are you going to stay before you're bored to death? There's nothing happening. Go anywhere in the whole universe. We send these probes everywhere. We've got the James Webb and the Hubble. They look way out there. What have they seen? If they found an amoeba, it would be front page of every single newspaper for months. They haven't found anything. You have trouble seeing things down here, having experiences? It's constantly, every moment of your life, there's colors and shapes and foods and people. And oh, what an amazing place. And all you do is complain. And don't tell me you're not complaining. The fact that you want it to be a specific way means you're complaining about the way it is. Why can't you come down here and have a good old time? Experience what's happening. Look what happened in front of me, right? It was an experience. They're all experiences. They're only good or bad because you said they were. How many times has something happened to you that you thought was terrible and you found it really was very wonderful? Later you found this is the best thing ever happened to me. And how many times is the best thing ever happened to you turned out to be garbage? You're ruining your life with the fact that you let your mind be programmed by your past experiences. Right. So there. Now that's a human. There are a lot of us walking around. Guess what? We don't get along very well, do we? Why? Because every single person that ever lived had totally different experience than everybody else. Even if we have this experience right here, I looked at you, you looked at me. The next moment, you're having totally different experiences than me. Oh, but she looked at me. She didn't remember anything she saw. Okay? Everyone's having a different experience all the time. Therefore, the sum of their learned experience is totally different. How could they think? I love that. That's my favorite. How could you say something like that? Have the experience I've had throughout my life, you'll probably say the same thing. How could you believe what you believe? How can someone believe that? Because the experience they had in their life programmed their mind, all put together, very complex, that's what they believe. Why is a person prejudiced? Isn't that terrible? People are prejudiced. It's just reality. They had experience in their life. They met a blonde in high school or junior high that dumped him. He's never liked blondes again for the rest of his life, right? They're bimbos. It's just another form of prejudice. I could have picked any prejudice and stepping on toes. Religion, nationality, right or wrong. Do people have prejudice about those things? Why? Because of their past experiences. And don't you dare think it's anything other than that. No, I'm right. You are not right. You just had those experiences. And this is my favorite. Somebody says, I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you an experience I had. I had a personal experience. You had one personal experience. What if you didn't have that experience? That's not reasonable. You have one experience out of the billions of experiences that could possibly happen, and you think you know what you're talking about. That's evidence. I have evidence. You don't have anything. I always ask you, when you're having an experience, any experience, here I'm having an experience, how many am I missing? How many other things are going on in the entire planet, everywhere, in the entire universe, everywhere, that I'm not experiencing, but I'm experiencing this one moment? 700 billion, zillion, trillion to one. Well, that's very statistically significant, isn't it? I had that experience. Fine. How many did you miss? If you had the other experience where they've changed you, yes, you've experienced nothing, but you think you know everything. Because in your limited mind, there's the universal set, then there's this little subset of your thoughts. How small is that? Well, you know you're right, don't you? What's nice to talk to somebody, right, is these experiences I've had show this, but I understand others have had other experiences. And I may have an experience tomorrow that changed the way I think. Now you're talking, that's your foundation for spirituality. You don't want to cling and hold on to just minuscule, meaningless thoughts in your mind. They're just programmed by your past experiences, and you could have had different experiences, and they'd be thinking differently. That's the start of a spiritual being. You're caught on. You're not so lost in your thoughts, your emotions, your views that you think you are right. I need to make everybody think the way I do. Nowadays, look at the world. So many things are given way. Hitler thought of giving way. He didn't like Jews, did he? Look what happened. The whole world ended up blown to pieces, right? It's happening all over, isn't it? All you have to do is have somebody think a certain way that has power. Makes a mess, doesn't it? But they all think they're right. I'm not picking anybody. They all think they're right, don't they? Okay, so now get quiet. What does it mean to grow spiritually? 1, you've gotten to the point that you understand you're not right. They're just thoughts, just emotions. Okay? People say that. I know I'm right. I can feel it in my heart. Does not impress me. Your heart is programmed exactly the same as your mind. Have you noticed? If your mind likes something, your heart opens. If your mind doesn't like something, your heart closes. Oh, that's a clue. So you've now transcended enough. You've transcended the personal self. That's what we just talked about. Enough to realize there's a whole other world. That's to be a whole other world. Why? Because my world is limited to me. There's a whole other world out there. Your consciousness does not have to be drawn down to your thoughts, your emotions. It's consciousness. It's open. It can experience anything, but it doesn't. Why? It's distracted by your thoughts, your emotions, so on. All right. So now we're on the path. That's the start. You're on the path. You learn how to not be distracted by yourself. Can that happen? Yes. How? Practice not being distracted. What do you mean, push it away? No. Somebody says something. It hits you. And so you sit there and you notice, this bothered me. Do I have to keep it? Do I want to keep it? But it hurts, yes. But it hurts, I don't want it to hurt, so I want to push it away. You push it away, it stays. This is spiritual practice. I don't like to say it's way beyond meditation. You have to meditate to get here. When it's all said and done, spirituality is the most natural thing in the entire world. You don't have to do anything. You have to stop doing stuff. So it happened now. Somebody said something. Your mind starts talking. Are you willing to maintain your seat of center and say, I'm okay with this? You mean I deny it? No, you're not denying anything. I'm okay that it got said. I better be, because it did. I'm okay that it just hit my stuff from my past, and it's causing some emotions, and it's causing blah, 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 go out of my mind, and I notice that. That's witness consciousness. I notice that has happened. I didn't get lost yet. The tendency is to protect yourself from yourself. You're not protecting yourself from what the person said. They're out there. They're just words. Have them say it in Chinese. You don't speak Chinese. It won't bother you one iota. You did this. It's your stuff that it hit. Are you ready, willing, and able to notice what happened? Not what he or she said, what happened inside of you. And are you wise enough to understand you don't need to keep that? You need to let it go. Surrender. What do you mean let it go? What I've found is the key to all of this is relaxation. For you to suppress it requires will. And will is a direction of force. Relaxation is a release of that tendency to resist. And so when it happens, you notice it and you relax. What will happen? It will come closer and it passes through and it's done. You digested it. It comes in and it lets go. All right? It's the only thing I ever want to teach. It's the only thing to talk about. You're in there being distracted by your stuff and then getting into it and letting it build a you that's upset, and et cetera, et cetera. So you start with small stuff, little stuff. I would tell you the driver in front of you, the weather. The weather is the best guru you ever had. Why? Because it won't be what you want. You can't control it. So you have a choice. Let it bother you or don't let it bother you. That's it. It's binary. And you let it bother you. You let it ruin your day. I had a terrible day. It rained all day. What are you doing? Letting yourself be like that. And you start to do this thing called working on yourself. And the way you work on yourself is when you notice that it hits your stuff, you relax. When? As often as you can. What if it doesn't go away when I relax? So what? It's better than keeping it forever. Every little time that this force is trying to distract you and pull your consciousness down into it, and you relax instead, you have grown spiritually. And you will know it. People write me from all over the world. I practiced that. It changed my life. All of a sudden, my marriage is working. I get along with my kids. Of course you do. This is the essence of spirituality, is to do this work inside of freeing the consciousness from being drawn down into the garbage that's being distracted from. Does that make sense to you? How do you do that? Sure, you meditate. Sure, you do mantra. All those are techniques for learning how to do this. If you do those and still get upset in life, you didn't go anywhere. I'm sorry. That impressed me. You meditate 6 hours a day and then come down here and scream and yell around at people who aren't the way you want them to be. I'm not telling you not to meditate. Meditate. But do this. Do this every moment of your life. Just keep letting go. What will happen? You will notice that consciousness does not have to be pulled down over every little thing that hits your stuff. You can relax through it. Then what will happen? Something bigger will happen. You relax through it. Something bigger will happen. You relax through it. But what if this happened and my husband died and my children? I understand. There's big things that happen that are too big right now to not get lost in. So just do your best. Stay conscious. Notice I didn't say detached, right? It is true detachment, right? It's the consciousness not being drawn down. But you stayed conscious as long as you could, and you came back as soon as you could. Don't justify, don't rationalize. Just, okay, I got drawn down. I see what it's like down there because it's not nice. And then the minute enough settles and you start to come back, don't, oh, I had the right. It was right that I did that. No, no, no. I have to make sure you didn't talk to me like that again. No, no, no. The minute you're conscious enough to see what happened, come back and let go. No guilt, no judgment, no thoughts about it. Stay conscious as long as you can. What happens, happens. Come back. It's a learning experience. You learn to ride a bike. You fell over a whole bunch of times. Good. Help to learn your balance. It's fine to fall down. Just stay as long as you can. Come back, learn from it, and let go. That's serious spiritual growth. And what will happen is you'll notice more and more that you can handle things that you thought you couldn't handle. In fact, you can't believe that they used to bother you. The weather used to bother you. You used to change your moods. And so you're letting go. And eventually what will happen over time is you'll notice that the moments of not there get shorter and shorter until eventually there are no moments that you're not there. That has a name. It's called becoming established in the seat of self. You're established there. That's your seat. It's not I'm down and up. But that's fine if you go down and up. Don't judge. Don't think. Don't make a thing out of it. It's not spiritual ego. Just keep relaxing through what you're going through. And eventually they will touch together and you'll find that you're always there. You don't do anything. You're just there. Why? Because you are there. You're just being drawn down. Okay? And when it gets to the point, which is a very great state, that you realize, I want you, I look at you, I love you so much. Nothing that can ever happen in your life will ever take away your seat of consciousness. Doesn't mean you want it to happen. Doesn't mean you can't work to help it not happen, whatever. But you realize inside, there's no anxiety, there's no fear. Does no fear mean there's never a feeling of fear? No, it means you're not afraid of the feeling of fear. Sure, you feel fear. I'm fine with it. I'm comfortable with it. It comes, it goes. It doesn't draw me into it. See the difference? The true fearlessness is not a strength. It's the ability to let go, let things pass. All right. Now we've talked about what you consider a high state. It's not a high state. It's a beautiful state, and I want you to get there. I would like to never worry about anything again for the rest of your life. Not because you got it the way you wanted, because it doesn't matter. It's fine. We'll do fine with it. Do you not interact with it? Of course you interact with it. You go to work, you have family. Life unfolds. Serve it. Put your heart into it. Don't be afraid of anything because you can handle everything. That's a great being. So know what happens. When you're established in that seat and the stuff is not pulling you down, all of a sudden there's this force that most people don't know anything about. It starts pulling you up. The reason your Shakti flow, your power, will flow is down is because you're letting it go down. You're focusing downward. When you're not focusing downward, this stuff called Shakti, there's a yogic word for you. This stuff called Shakti, all of a sudden you feel this force pulling you up. It goes up. Why? Because it's not being pulled down. It's not being pulled down, it goes up. If I take a hot air balloon that's tethered to the ground, You'll put more hot air in. No, it'll just bounce. Cut the tethers, it'll go up by itself. That's what's going on in there. That's what they call spirit. It's this energy inside that wants to go up. It is up. The consciousness has a power. It's called Chit Shakti, conscious energy. Chit Shakti. That's what the yogis call God. Chit Shakti, conscious energy. So as you untether it by letting go what's pulling it down, not by suppressing or fighting, I can handle it. That's the highest mantra. I can handle this. I can handle this. And you let go. It starts going up, and the Shakti flow will absolutely flow inside of you, and you feel it pulling you up, and then something will happen, and you'll stop letting it go up. How do people get lost? People get lost on the path. High people, very high people. That power is very powerful. That's where the power of attraction comes from. That's where power of will, tremendous Shakti. You can press everybody. Oh, lots of things go on. Let ego touch it just for a moment. I want to build a big organization. I want a lot of people to love me. Anytime that I says one word, you have channeled the Shakti down to the personal. And there are beings who are very great that do that, have done that. You don't do that. You heard this lecture. You don't do that. You just keep letting go. But I already got high. Keep letting go. But. You just keep relaxing, releasing, relaxing, releasing, relaxing, releasing. And then it'll start pulling you up and never stop pulling you up. So keep pulling you up, pulling you up. And you will feel, you don't have to talk to you, talked about it. As you go further up, now it's not a matter of letting go of your thoughts and emotions. It's actually challenging you to let go of your sense of individuality. You who was looking at you, you're not so drawn into it, but you're still you looking at you. You're still limited to, I've transcended my thoughts. Right? I've transcended my thoughts. Who's this my? Whose thoughts? You're still this consciousness identifying with this. You're not getting drawn down into it as much. At some point, it was amazing. These are Christ's teachings. I'm a nice Jewish yogi. We were talking very deep yoga. Right? What did he say? You must die to be reborn. You get to a point where it's pulling you up. It challenges your sense of individuality. It's asking you to let go of the sense of you. Even the sense that's transcended to your mind and everything. There's still someone there looking at it. How do you know you're transcended to your thoughts? I can handle them. How do you know? What's this I still there? And it asks for you to let go. And when you let go, that's where the great ones, the really great ones went. When you let go of any sense of the individuality, the consciousness drops like a drop. My Baba said, my consciousness is a drop of water. When it let go of that, it drops into the ocean. Find it. That's what merger is. The word yoga means union. That's what it's talking about. That's where the really great ones went, including Christ and Buddha, is that the individual consciousness fell into the ocean of consciousness, the source of consciousness. You'll never find it again. It merged. You can't find that drop again, can you? It became one with the ocean. Christ said, my Father and I are one. Every word he said was spoken from that state. You are a very great being. You are that. Right now, you are that consciousness. One with God. It's just God, universal consciousness, staring at you. What a funny thing to do. And suffering. All right. You have a better understanding of what's going on, better understanding of who you are, better understanding how to get out. There's a path to liberation. You're a great being. What did they say the fall from the garden was? You ate of a fruit of self-knowledge. You knew yourself as an individual. And when you fell from the garden, now you must work by the sweat of your brow to be okay. Do you work by the sweat of your brow to be okay? Every moment of your life. You're the most okay thing in the whole universe. Work on this. Raise yourself. Jagrata.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.